this concept. I mean, we all know that authorship, the rel author tag, was that huge factor that everyone thought was a silver bullet for great SEO rankings, right? In one space, I mean, that was getting rel author on everything that you were ever producing, and Google decided, all right, well, we don't want it there. It's not really as valuable as we thought it was originally, and it really wasn't an SEO play, correct?
Yeah, I think that's always kind of tricky. On the one hand, at Google, we try to be fast in responding to things, in that we measure kind of the reaction from our users. And that's something where we sometimes see surprising things, in that we assume users will respond to this by doing more of that or doing more of that. And when we test it, it might be completely different. And similarly with authorship, it was something where we assumed this would help people to kind of recognize things or handle things in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out maybe it wasn't the right approach there. I think the tricky part there with authorship in general was that it relied on sites to do a lot of work on their end.
Yeah.
And that really kind of made it harder for us to say, okay, this experiment isn't working out. We were just going to switch it off. So we were really kind of reluctant for quite some time to say, okay, how do we tell these people that we don't actually need that markup at the moment?
Mm-hmm.
But I think the good part that kind of came out of this is that people thought a lot more about semantic markup on their pages, and things like schema.org and the JSON LD markup. All of these things are now topics that webmasters implement. And it's not a matter of whether or not to implement any kind of structured data markup. It's more like, which one do I use? Like, there's so many different options, and maybe this was the right one for me, and maybe this other one is the right one for me. So I think kind of moving things from just pure HTML to actually thinking about structured data behind the scenes, that was actually a really, really interesting move.